Good day. Thank you for joining us again for another Q and CCA web series episode. This is, I believe, our third episode, and I'm really excited about this one. Joining me today is a Consumer Choice Award winner, Nishin Handa from Vancouver, from SaveMore Plumbing and Lighting. Thank you, Nishin, for joining us. This is great. Why don't I allow you to introduce yourself, your company, where you are, and perhaps how long you've been a Consumer Choice Award winner.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. So as Jeff said, I'm from Vancouver, from SaveMore Plumbing and Lighting. We're a plumbing and lighting fixture showroom, and we've been Consumer's Choice winners on and off for about a decade, I'd say. I think we're on our 4 or 5 year streak now. So yeah.
Yeah, great.
I'm the manager of the Vancouver branch as well.
Terrific. Well, again, thanks so much for joining us. And thanks on behalf of everyone who's watching this, because what we've been doing we've been a Consumer Choice Award, myself and the staff, we've been getting some great questions from winners about what other winners are doing. And as I put out a request in that first episode, sort of a call to action for winners to share some of the tactics that they've been using over this period. So the responses have been great, but what we figured is why not hear it from the winners themselves? So we're going to use this platform I'm going to ask you, Nishin, some questions that winners have asked. So I'd love to hear from a winner's perspective, and hopefully, not hopefully, because I know your answers are going to be great, but you're also going to share some tactics that's are along the same lines of what other winners have been sharing as well. So I'm going to jump right in. So Nishin, as businesses have been forced to either entirely close their doors or change their operations to some degree, how have you been able to remain operational if you have?
So we have luckily been able to remain operational. And I think being in business since 1989 comes with constant adaptation. So that adaptability really helped us with figuring out, okay, what do we need to do to stay open and not get in trouble? So the first thing we did was contact the local municipalities for both of our locations and ask them what needs to be done. And the main points that they brought up were social distancing and sanitization. So we went to work right away. We implemented those procedures and we sent out email blasts, put it on social media, on our website, our blog posts, just to get the message out there that, hey, we're open, but under certain conditions.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, not only jumping on how you need to change right away, but what I thought was really important there was, just to underscore what you guys did to communicate to your customer base. I think just that constant communication is so important right now for sure. So I think that's great. Now you mentioned the word adapt. People are saying that often these days. So over this period of time, what would you say has been the biggest obstacle you guys have faced? And if you did overcome it, how did you adapt to do that?
So I think the biggest obstacle was social distancing and getting people to comply with it. We initially started with the tape on the floor, but people weren't really getting the message, or maybe we needed big, like, stop, don't stand here signs. Mm-hmm. But we just took a more drastic, apocalyptic approach of putting up caution tape everywhere. Like, stay back, people. It's a pandemic.
Yeah, and I think that's good learnings. I think as people were beginning to implement these measures, it seemed almost apocalyptic, as you said, like over the top. But I would say by now it's almost to be expected on the consumer end, and so I don't think there's any overdoing it as it relates to ensuring that the stores or workplaces are set up for safety. Absolutely. So no, thanks for sharing that. Now, many companies fear that business as they knew it will never be the same again. In your industry specific, what do you fear, or what do you feel will remain, the changes you've made will remain long term?
I think the use of virtual meetings and sales, that will be long term. And I think it's for the better because it opens up new sales avenues for not only your clients, but for yourself. When you have people coming from the island out in the West Coast, maybe they could FaceTime you rather than taking the ferry. And we've actually had success with FaceTime sales where we've closed sales using FaceTime. And that's been shocking because in our industry as a showroom, you would think people need to be there in person, and to some degree they do, but we're glad that video conferencing has bridged that gap.
No, absolutely. And yeah, because definitely the technology has always been there. But on the business side, the fear to go to virtual selling, or the fear to move away from, nothing can replace face-to-face. Everyone now has been forced into, as the new normal. So in a sense, everyone being forced into virtual meetings and virtual selling. That's great that you see that as a positive. I think people have just not only accepted it but embraced it. So yeah, I think that's a great point. Thanks for sharing that. Now, what would you say has been the biggest takeaway during this pandemic for your business?
There have been a lot, but I think the main takeaway is that the germaphobes had it right, and health is wealth. I will never judge my mom again for sanitizing everything in sight. You do you, girl. We need to do that.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's great. That's great. What are you most looking forward to when things return to some sort of normalcy?
On the macro, mainly like a reduction in fear with people and a return to human interaction. I know you mentioned the new normal. We will have to change our behaviors in some way, but I'm looking forward to people relaxing a bit and having a lack of fear. Personally, I'm looking forward to traveling and my favorite local ramen shop opening up. So yeah.
Good. It's amazing what the things we look forward to now are. Right? No, that's great. Well, thanks for sharing. So one last question for you. So you've mentioned that you've been at least, I think it's 4 consecutive years. Maybe this is going in on your 5th, but a winner for a number of years. What would you say, maybe, if it's prior to all this happening or perhaps especially during this pandemic, what has it meant to your business being a Consumer Choice Award-winning company?
It gives you that credibility, having that sort of badge on your invoices and your advertising on your front door of your business. It gives you credibility and it provides comfort to the customer knowing that, okay, I'm shopping at a renowned, well-respected place.
That's great. Well, thanks for sharing. And I would say, not only is it that differentiator, as you mentioned, but, and again, it's hard because I'm from Consumer Choice Award, but I'm also a consumer. And I will say, looking for service providers, that reinforcement of that purchase decision is so important today. So, being a Consumer Choice Award winning company, I believe in the eye of a consumer, take it for what it's worth, goes a long way. So Nishin, thank you again so much. And thanks on behalf of every winner and consumer who's watched this. I thought that was really, really insightful what you shared with us today. I'm excited for this web series, and now that it's featuring our winners like yourself. If you're a winner and you're watching this and you'd love to participate, well, I'd love to have you participate. Reach out to me anytime, send me an email directly. I know our next one in a few days, I'm going to have a panel of a number of winners on it from coast to coast. And I'm really excited to see where this web series is going to go as we feature award-winning companies from across Canada and leaning on their business excellence. So once again, thanks, Nishin, for joining us. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you in Vancouver live and in person very soon, because that means things are back to normal. But in the meantime, thanks again so much. And yeah, on behalf of everyone, thank you. And look forward to seeing where this web series will go next. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks.